welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come down. We've got a great presentation for you here. Before we get into it, I want to ask if we could please hold all of our questions until the end. We will have a few minutes to allow for some questions. We just want to make sure we're keeping everything related to the renovation. I know one of the burning questions is where are we going to play next year? I can assure you that I'm working on that. I've already had a few meetings with area golf courses, and I'm going to get you the most tee times at the best times and for the best rate that I can. So just bear with me on that. I'll have something for you probably by the end of the year. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to our presenters here. Please welcome Gavin Fazio and Ron Smith.
All right, thank you. Here you go. So put this behind you there. Ladies and gentlemen, you can hear me? Hear me in the back there? How you doing? Oh, well, let's make sure Ron doesn't choke himself with this thing. Okay, here we go. How you guys doing? It's great to see you guys.
Save us.
That's what we hear a lot, and we're here to do that. Absolutely. This microphone, it's not quite loud enough. Okay, you got it there. We're really excited to be here. First, I'll introduce Ron Smith, who has worked for us for many, many years. Sometimes I don't like to say all the years because then people start to add it up and get his age. But he's worked for us for a very long time and has been a great asset to our company. He's been involved with many, many high-profile Fazio projects. And he is selected to be the all-star at Amelia National. So that's why we have him here. He's already working closely with Bill for quite some time now. We've been here a few times, and so Ron is intimately involved with the golf course and knows the most really about it as you can from a design perspective. And so, once as the project progresses, Ron is really the kind of on-site eyes and ears for the ownership group and the construction progress. And really, there's not many people I know in the world that knows more about construction and golf construction than Ron. So whenever I don't know something, he's someone that I certainly go to. So thank you, Ron, for coming. And I guess we'll just kind of move on quickly. I don't have a ton to really say about the specifics of a golf renovation, but one thing I will kind of just begin with is this is something that the Fazio Group is very, very familiar with. When you use the word redo or renovation, there's so many different aspects of that. There's so many different ways you can, quote unquote, skin that cat. We've seen everything from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you name the price tag renovations. And that will sometimes involve everything from underground to above ground, and in between. So I wouldn't classify this as a full-scale renovation. I would say this is more of a regrassing and a refreshing of the current golf course and the current golf conditions, which have been just a little bit aged, if you will. And so a regrassing and a refreshing will enhance not only the playability, but the obviously sights and views. So this plan is really just a topo of the whole property. What we did on this plan is kind of just come up with some of potential areas that we would potentially update. Mostly all really includes bunker adjustments, maybe some tree adjustments. The main thing, really, though, it all goes back to the grass. And if you have good grass, your golf course is going to benefit in more ways than one. And in order to have good grass, you need to have sun. And trees, obviously, block the sun. So a lot of these areas currently that we have, maybe some problem areas on multiple holes, some new ideas and new turf in addition to maybe some just simple things like removing some trees or some of the vegetation in that area will greatly increase the playability in a lot of those said areas. So really from the golf's perspective that it is now, obviously you guys see it brown out there. This is a very common step in the regrassing process. And we were just talking to Bill here earlier, and hopefully you know, we get some rain tonight and some more rain over the next couple days, but it's going to be a really shocking process to see how quickly the green really comes and really starts to pop. So really from there, we're just really excited to be involved with this ownership group, and that's really the one reason why we really made sure that Amelia National was something that is close to my dad and Maury's heart, and so we really wanted to just be involved in any way we could be involved. So we're excited to be involved, do whatever is necessary to get what the membership and the group and the ownership wants done, and I think we go from there. We're really excited to be here. And these kind of 5 bullet points, I don't know if you guys read these, but you know, these are kind of very general, but in general, these will be the things that are going to improve some of the golf conditions out there. And Ron, do you have anything else you want to add about the specifics of the grass, or?
I mean, we're updating to the newest grass, Tip Tough. The grass that you've got, it was a big item 20, 30 years ago. Everybody went that way. It's been removed, even from courses close to here. So we're updating to the newest grass. We believe and there's a reason it's called Tip Tough. The amount of shade being North Florida, you deal with the turnoff in the winter. It's a little bit less likely to turn off. We've used it in basically the renovations that's close by that we've done. That's doing good there. So we really have high expectations for the grass. The bunkers, the way we did the bunkers 30 years ago is completely different than the way we do bunkers now. And believe it or not, 30 years ago, the greens construction was by far the highest cost on a golf course build, and now bunker construction is now as close, if not in some instances, higher than what the greens construction is. With the new types of bunkers, you'll end up with less plugs. During the rain, you'll end up with less washouts. It's just, you'll end up with less maintenance, so that we can take the money that we spend on repairing bunkers after a rain, we'll decrease that probably by 60 to 70%. We can take that money and use it for fertilizer, for chemicals. Everybody knows fertilizer prices went out the roof, so all these clubs are dealing with trying to come up with money. So our intent is to lower some of the maintenance on some of this stuff with the new technology and enhance the bunkers. What you won't believe, and only because you're in this group, we're going to decrease the amount of sand square footage that's on this golf course. Now, if I didn't tell you that, when you come back, you're probably going to say that we either kept it the same or we may have even increased it because of the visibility. A lot of the bunkers you guys see out there right now, you're losing, you probably don't realize this, but from the tee, you're losing 70, 60% of the visibility of the sand. We're going to make the sand more visible. We're going to reduce the number of bunkers. One of the philosophies that we found throughout the years is after 2 shots, after 2 mediocre to bad shots, the last place you want to be is in a bunker. Mm-hmm. And there's some out here that's exactly the case. Yep. So you're going to see less of them. They're going to be, the other thing that we found out is, and one of the things whenever I was basically doing construction for many years with Fazio, and now I'm more on this end of it, and one of the things that the comment is, I've never been asked to go back as a contractor and make the bunkers deeper. And the key is, one of the keys that I've learned from Tom is, if you're in a bunker, you should have the opportunity to hit the club that you can advance with your abilities the closest to the hole. So if you're in a bunker, in a fairway bunker, and you've hit a decent shot, you shouldn't have to hit a wedge or a 9-iron out of that bunker. If you're 170 yards out, you should be able to. So that's some of the things that you're going to see. We're going to hopefully solve, and I was here during the rains because we were actually trying to spray out. We're actually going to try to solve most of the drainage issues. You don't have a lot, but you do have some drainage issues here that we're going to solve. So basically, we spent time up here, and yes, we're regrassing, but why we regrass, we're going to try to solve some of the issues and bring this thing up to date.
Right, and that's a good point. Is one thing wanted to mention is we rarely come to one of these Fazio golf courses and we stand on the first tee and we blow up the golf course and completely change the golf holes. That's not something that we do to Fazio golf courses, maybe to some other golf courses that we didn't design. But typically, like Ron said, you know, some of the bunkers you won't notice much of a difference, but the square footage will be reduced and there'll be a lot more visibility. And that actually really does help the bottom line. And I think that's really where we start, yeah. Was there any other, do we want to start with maybe a couple questions?
What are your 5 points?
Oh, okay, the 5 points. Let's get to those. Right. You didn't read these. You haven't got these. You just put it up.
I can't read them from back here.
Okay, great. Okay, this is my fault. I apologize. It's my fault. I thought you guys maybe had read these points. Let me read them. Okay, point 1. The main goals. We say they're in the order of importance, but some people might change these order of importance, I guess. But number 1, improve playing conditions with new variety of turf and decreased shade issues. I think I touched on that initially when we kind of started. Number 2, renovate the course features to modern standards for more efficient maintenance, kind of what Ron described regarding some of the bunkers. One of the specifics around the bunkers is this new technology called bunker solutions. There's a bunch of different technologies out there right now that give you that look in terms of being able to have around 30%, 25% slope, and the sands still stay there and not have washouts. So bunker solutions is one of them we've been working with very often, and that's what we're planning to use here. And it's not something you're necessarily going to see from the top down, but it's going to change how everything is draining and all the water is going through the bunker and some of the construction around the bunker to get the grades to where the water continues to go away from the bunker. And that's going to help with some of the technology we put in the bunker. Third point here, reposition bunkers and add tees for improved strategy and playability. There are some holes in some areas that we're going to do this. This is a kind of just a general bullet point, but that's some opportunity we have there. Number 4, improve the practice facilities. This is something I'm personally really excited about, being able to come up into the entrance here and have I always say grand entrance. I don't know what everybody's idea of a grand entrance is. I think this is a great entrance. I think we can make it even better. And with that, it's going to include the practice area, and how you really start in a golf course, to me, really does help, especially if you're bringing guests around. They're really going to notice how they start and kind of how they finish, and obviously when they're out there in the middle, but really the start is really a good key. So if we have some really good views and better, maybe potentially cart traffic areas in better practice facilities, that's going to increase that wow factor when people come right through the gates and maybe not even make it out to the golf course and they just do some practice.
Can you touch on that a little more? Explain what you're thinking?
Yeah, we have a specific kind of outline of what we have come up with. We can share that with the group, but really what we want to do is increase targets. We want to maybe potentially add some year. Are we going to do those year-round tees or those turf tees?
Yeah, we're talking about having a turf tee that whenever we have inclement weather, that you got a place to go so we don't beat up the.
So we don't beat up the tee, because the issue is clearly the issue with most golf courses that we go to is space. Technically, if we wanted the best range in the world, we'd take out this parking lot here, we'd move this back, we'd have a huge tee, and we'd have just plenty of space, but we don't have that. So what we're going to do is make what we have work. We have some renderings to where it's going to increase the cart traffic on this plan, and when we could share in detail some more, that first hole in practice facility entrance is something that is the main driver of what we want to do, and we want to make that feel better than it is now, in terms of we're going to reposition those tees maybe on one a little bit to the right, move that vegetation, get some more space over to the right, and create a kind of roundabout kind of situation for the carts. We can get into more detail on that. We have that kind of rendering and draw up, but we've been doing tons of short courses and ranges. And I sit here and I say that, you know, we design golf courses, but honestly, ranges is something that we really are doing a lot of these days and organizing that. So we're excited about that.
Will you be increasing the size of the putting green? Perhaps.
We would like to. We would like to increase the size of it, maybe make it a little bit more adaptable to what's out on the golf course, and kind of go from there. But yes, that's definitely on our mind for sure. Let me just get to this fifth point before we. And the fifth point is restore the greens back to the original sizes to maximize hole locations. I think it's pretty clear. Everybody plays golf courses around here that are new or old. Most of the older golf courses you play, the greens are smaller than when they originally built. And as time goes on and you're mowing the grass, it just gets smaller and smaller depending on how much maintenance and how much oversight you have on that guy mowing that green. And so over time, the grass kind of grows in, and you technically don't have the same exact green shapes and features right around the green over time. So that's something that we really want to get back to Amelia National and refresh. So I think those kind of, I don't know if that's everyone's order of importance, but those are kind of the 5 points we came up with that we think can improve Amelia National.
What's the timeline expected? Specifically?
Yeah, if I had the crystal ball, I'd give you the answer to that. I think, the idea.
So we start in the spring. The key in Florida is to get a lot of the grass down before the hurricane season. So we're shooting to have the grass down by the end of July. That's why the best insurance policy we can have on renovation, I tell every owner this, I tell in the state of Florida, the key is to start early.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're still in season, but the best insurance to fight the hurricane season, and you may not get hurricane, but when you drop 12 inches from a tropical storm, is if we've got the grass down by the end of July and we give it a chance to root to where a 10-inch event won't move it, that's the best insurance we can buy. So we're hoping to start in April, and we're hoping to have the grass down by the end of July. Now, that's just down. That's not knitted in. We're still going to be doing odds and ends, bunker construction, cleanup. But that's the process. Therefore, we should be open mid-fall. And I can tell you a date, but nobody here can tell me what the tropical storm season is.
Right,
If you have no tropical storms, I can tell you probably within 5 days of when you're open. But nobody in here can guarantee me we're not going to have tropical storms.
Right, and I think to that point, I think we are doing everything we can right now at this stage to get done in the quickest fashion as possible. So I think we're on a good start for now.
You doing cart paths also?
We're doing cart path, as of right now, we're still finalizing the total budget. We're doing cart path repair. So the things that you see that's damaged by the trees.
Yeah, and the root issues,
yes,
yeah.
We're going, I was with the contractor this morning. We're going to try to pick them for crossings. Like you've got some places out there that's got a 4-inch. So
Yeah,
we're
issues,
trying
yeah.
to use that to tear up and purposely cross there. Now, we've got above and beyond that. Depending on how the final budget pans out, that is probably the only line item that we're sitting there saying, guys, and we have some fluff right now, but as we eliminate that fluff, it's going towards cart path. The owner's not asked us to decrease this budget. The owner says, we want the best we can be. Here's what we're good with. They haven't even told us one way or the other, but we're working towards a number right now.
The cart paths are in this renovation talk, like how we kind of started this process talking about the renovations. You know, you could start with a cart path renovation and an irrigation renovation, and all of a sudden you're looking at,
Just on them 2 items.
just those 2 items.
It'll
Those
be
are
the same as the budget for the rest of
for the whole golf course. So some key items that you kind of not necessarily leave out, but maybe do your best to enhance and use what you have, really go a long way. But yeah, some of these items that you look at and can't we just do that? And I think there are chances where you can, but again, I was just out on a golf course out in Utah, and they want to redo the whole cart path and all the curbing. And the curbing is about half the price of the cart path. So, I mean, you're talking huge numbers. And so, yeah, we're going to make it as accessible as possible. One thing, just like he just said, and this is why Ron is the best, he's talking about access to get to these other golf holes, because we're going to have machinery out here. And so typically the reason why when you renovate and you redo cart paths is because you have big machinery out here ruining your cart paths. So now you have to redo your cart paths. That's technically really how it works. And that's the same goes with drainage. You know, they're going to say they can do, a contractor can do it. They get their, 20, 50,000 pound trucks on there, it crushes all the drainage. Now you got to redo all the drainage. So one thing that we're good at and we specialize in is enhancing that ability for us to not have to break every cart path and ruin everything in our way to make something nice. We're going to try to preserve as much as possible and kind of go about it that way, if that makes sense.
What level of compaction do you have currently on the fairways, and do you have to address that?
No, it's
No.
about the drainage, number one, and then number two is any soils that are soft, we're going to replace. We're going to try to get the sand. We've got some valleys out there that's soft. We're going to take that material and replace it with sand. Actually, the more compaction you got, it hinders turf growth.
Right.
So there's a proper mixture.
Need more sand. Yeah.
Yes, sand is the answer.
Sand. Is there any other?
Well, you mentioned the driving range. How about the short range area? The one with that sand trap. Is that going to be or looked at as far as expanded?
Yeah. We want to make that as playable for all members as possible.
More than one person?
Exactly. That was going to be my next point. Exactly. And again, some of these original designs that you do, things evolve and things grow, just like these massive trees out here. When we originally put some of these greens, like for example, that first hole green, some of those trees were not nearly as large. So the use of golf course, what we've seen, and I've just learned this from Dad over the years, is, when we originally do a golf course, it's not always what ends up happening with that golf course or that membership 20 years down the line. And so things evolve and change. And so just to your point, having more access and more players out there seems like the need now. There's more people that play golf than ever. All people, what we see now, practicing is at an all-time high. We see more practice at all our golf courses, and we're doing tons of tee space at all our new golf courses. Our new golf course in Atlantic Fields has got 2 of the biggest tees you've ever seen. Not only one of them, 2 of them. And it's just really unbelievable how much time people spend on the practice facilities than they did before. So yes, that's 100% the goal, is to have it multifaceted.
Right. We have a tremendous amount of root exposure in the area. Are you addressing that?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's really the shade and the root issues from the big trees being too close to play is an issue. And that happens over time. Obviously, we clearly would never put a cart path or a fairway close or on a root. It obviously is grown, and especially some of these bunkers that are tucked up underneath some of these trees. There's roots under those bunkers. So everywhere, not only in the cart paths, in the green areas, but everywhere. There's some areas where you don't see the roots. There are going to be some areas to address there, and maybe kind of, is that tree necessary, and how can we save that tree, and if we can't, what we can do?
Yes, these may be related, but will there be an opportunity for combination tees in the future, and will the course be re-rated?
I'm gonna take care of that. That's for me. Yeah, we will do some combo tees, but that doesn't have anything to do with the construction. It's just having the FSGA come out and re-rate.
We're going to change the tee box.
There's a few that are gonna be shifted, I think that's correct.
Yeah, just a few that should be shifted, but that is a setup scenario, and so I think there's definitely going to be an opportunity for that, especially with some of these new bunker positionings, and you're going to have more of an opportunity to play from some of those different yardages.
Yeah, I've already got the ball rolling with the FSGA on that. We need to wait till everything's done before we get that process. I know what's being rescheduled from when this meeting was originally supposed to take place. I know they were able to squeeze us in. They are under a little bit of a time constraint, so we're gonna have room for about 2 or 3 more questions. Mrs. Holmes?
Hi, thanks for coming and
Yes.
being squeezed in. I love all that you're sharing, but after you leave, you know, there has been a lot of discussion about our maintenance facility being substandard. Are you, and we've been hearing that that's going to be elevated too and changes made, a new facility. Are you involved in that as well?
I wouldn't say we're involved with that, but I will say that a good maintenance facility is always the backbone of a good golf course. So that's something that definitely we brought up, and we would like to see, a maintenance facility that's up to par. I think we've come up with some ideas and options on that, and but yes, it's definitely something that's that we've looked at and would like to address. Yeah.
Right, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That is being addressed. We'll be breaking ground on that pretty soon, actually.
Great,
So
thank you.
brand new maintenance facility is coming.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't want to break that news.
Mr. Guston?
You talk about the drive-in and the wow factor and what people think. A vast number of us have our own carts, live here in the property. You come wheeling up with a guest, and it doesn't matter whether you're cutting over onto the cart path that comes off 9 or you cut across where it goes to 10. It's dirt, it's gravel. Could we just slice a little out of the budget
No,
to
we
maybe
we are-
pave those areas?
Yeah,
We've already got that.
we've already got
That's
that.
already
We already got that situated. Yep. Yeah. Oh, we can do perfect.
So the one thing that Tom Fazio's got involved with here is he sent me up here, just said, Ron, I want you to go to Amelia National and come back to me. I said, Tom, for what? He could go to Amelia National, come back to me. He'd been here. I get back, I said, okay, I got a report ready. You want to read it? And he goes, well, what's the top 2 things? And these guys just hit it. I said, maintenance facility and the surrounds of the clubhouse.
Yep.
And Tom's been adamant that in the budget process, in the contracting, yes, we got a number to hit, but we are to take care of this. So
Yep.
Amen.
that's coming
Absolutely.
from the head honcho.
Yep.
Amen.
Mr. Anderson, your last question?
Yeah, so on the 7th hole, the play right now, the best play is over the bunkers into the rock. Is that going to be changed? I mean, because it's a crazy thing.
It's
The
the
best
last
play is going
bunker
over
on the right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, some of that,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
all the time.
some of that's, if you think about that, if you sit there and, some of that's come from the time. I mean, you look at where you hit the ball 20 years ago. I mean, for a fact, I hit the ball the same as I did when I was 25 years old. You know? And I'm sitting there, my
He
golf
does.
swing sure ain't swinging like I did when I was 25 years old. So some of the bunkers,
You look like it though. You look like
I
it.
look- I wish I could say I played like it. So anyway, we're going to reposition stuff, but no, the best route will not be in the rough.
No, absolutely.
It's the last bunker on the right, the smaller one.
Right. Yeah. Got it.
Or is it the tee boxes because that
Well,
fairway is.
we do have, you asked about combo tees. We did a tee analysis. You will have the ability, what I like to say is with AI, we could literally print a card. You could walk into this clubhouse and say you wanted to play from 6,300 and we could print a card. Now that's over the top. We don't need to do that. But we will have the ability to set up combo tees. We're adding some new tees, we're extending some tees. We look, and everybody here would sit there and think naturally we come in and do back tees. That's not what we do. I mean, right now the big tendency is the tee in between the front tee and the second to the front. We're either extending, egos, there's no egos in here, I'm sure, but egos will not allow certain handicap players to play from the same tee as other handicap players because their ego won't let them. Whereas if we split that tee or change that
Stagger 'em.
yeah, stagger them, then we get combo tees and nobody feels uncomfortable playing from them. So we have done a complete tee analysis and a bunker analysis both with basically we know what the average player hits it, what what the high, or the low handicap, so yes. And that's one of the parts 20 years old, I mean, 20, 30 years old.
Yeah, and that's, again, to go back to the original thing of the renovation, that's, some of these golf courses we go to that we're doing this to, some of the bunkers are more skewed than others based off of when they were built. And the golf ball has changed significantly with these, when your ball speed's up very high. And that's something that we deal with quite often.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that it?
Thank
Great.
you all for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.